Hey guys, Jaxer, Free Auto Mechanic. All my subscribers, I really appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button for me. It would really help this channel out a lot and keep more content like this coming to you. So what we're doing today is we're going to be installing a serpentine belt, a belt tensioner, and a belt idler pulley. I purchased these parts from Mocha Auto Parts. They look pretty good quality. They even got their name stamped right on it. So let's get that installed. So this job is going to require a couple of tools. You're going to need a 9/16 socket and a ratchet to remove the idler pulley. You're going to need a T40 Torx bit, that's that star bit, to remove the center bolt that goes on the tensioner itself. And then you're going to need a 1/2 inch ratchet or a 1/2 inch belt tensioner tool. That'll get our belt off of it. That's all the tools you need. A little bit of know-how, and I'm going to give you that. One of the first things I like to do is spin the fan to give you optimal access. And if you spin it around, you'll find that there's one area like this right here. It's like missing one blade. That's going to give you a lot more room to keep from busting your knuckles. So you want to align that to give you access to your idler and your tensioner down here. Now we want to move to our tensioner, and we want to access that 1/2 inch slot right there if we can. Relieve the tension. And remove your belt. And if you get in a pinch, something I've found is you can use a pry bar or a stick, something that fish down in there, to try to help you get the belt where you need it to go. Go in here with our 9/16, see if we can remove our idler pulley. You want to be careful to hang on to the spacer that's behind it, because we will need to reuse that. Now using my T40 Torx bit, we'll see if we can loosen up the tensioner. That sucker's in there. Once you get it broke loose, doesn't seem too bad. So it's clearly loose. And it looks like I might need to put a screwdriver or a pry bar behind that to get it to pop loose. You might be able to skip this step, but I like to take a wire brush, just clean the surface up. So, I want you to see what happens here. You see there's two nubs on the new one, only one on the old one. That's right, this one's broke off inside there. So what was going to be a real simple job, and should have been, is going to turn into a possible headache. Maybe beforehand you might have been able to hose this sucker down with WD-40 and let it set for 2 or 3 days, hosed it down again, and maybe would have been able to get that out of there. It's just corroded. It's got 200,000 miles on it. It's 20 some years old. So see what we can do about this. And before I go getting too crazy, let's see if I can just grab a hold of it. So I'm going to need a little better access to that. So remove the alternator. There's two 5/8 bolt, or two 15mm bolts. Remove those. You can move your alternator out of the way, and that gives you access to this entire bracket. And if you can manage to get this loose and get it out, great. If not, there's 4 bolts that hold this entire bracket on, and those are 9/16 bolts. So you can take this entire bracket off of your Jeep, 4 9/16 bolts, and I think that's what we're going to do. Put this up on the bench where we can work on this thing like we should be able to. End up removing the air box to be able to get my breaker bar in here. So I've got this bracket off, and it's pretty nasty. And you can see this is where the piece broke off right inside there. So we're going to try and get that out or drill it out. One or the other, it's got to come out of there. but this thing is just filthy. So I'm going to take this opportunity to try out our aerosol spray from Super Clean and see how she does. Let's take our biodegradable Super Clean. We'll just see what it does here. Like we're getting a little foamy bubbles action. And just leave that soak for a bit and see what happens. Well, I can see a nice trail of dirt and grime coming right off of it. And it's been on there maybe a minute. It's still kind of doing its thing. And it says to let it dry, but I think I'm going to agitate the surface with my wire brush. So, depending on just how clean and shiny you want it, but it gets the grease off of it to where you can handle it without getting it all over your hands. And then of course we need to let it dry. So what I ended up doing is I took a hacksaw and I cut a groove in it. And I got it soaking with a little bit of WD-40 on there. And I'm going to try and unscrew that with a screwdriver. There's no threads or anything. It's just wedged in there. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to get that out. And if I'm not lucky, that's okay too. We'll try something else. It's not doing a whole lot for us. Guess it's on to trying something different. So you can see I got the new bracket cleaned up. Got that pin drilled out and removed. You want to double check to make sure it fits like it should, nice and smooth. And then we'll go ahead and bolt the bracket back up on there. Get our tensioner installed. Now I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this situation right here and install my tensioner before I put the alternator back on. If you didn't have to take your alternator off, of course, you can't do that. So we're going to put the idler on. We'll need the spacer, and we're going to need the bolts. Now this served as kind of a dust shield as well as a washer, but it will not work on the new one. So can't reuse it. I dug around and I found a washer that would cover this inner bearing, but not anything else. We still need to put our spacer in there. And then install our idler pulley. Now we can see about putting our belt on. If you drew yourself a diagram, you might grab hold of it, reference. Got everything set just about the way I want it. Well, hopefully we can get our tensioner worked loose here. You're gonna double check, make sure your belt's in all the grooves. All right. I've got to put the air box back together. If you didn't have to take yours apart, there's just one less thing you had to fool with. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Sounds good. Now we got everything installed. We should be good to go for hopefully another 50 to 75,000 miles, give or take. Thanks for watching.